guys, welcome back to my kitchen, and if you are new here, welcome. I'm Mindy and this is See Mindy Mom, and this week I'm doing a little pantry meal challenge. I'm not going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to see how many days we can make it just using up the stuff that we have on hand, so stay tuned. All right, you guys, I've done a few videos like this before where I just take a few days, I take stock of what we have in the house already, in the pantry, in the fridge, in the freezers, and I try to make meals for my family for as long as I can without going to the grocery store. I find this to be very helpful this time of year because we're coming in on the holidays, and number one, I kind of want to clean out my pantry, fridge, and freezers to make room for all of the goodies that are going to be coming in over the next month. And number two, I want to be able to afford to pay for all of the special things that we want to make and buy during this holiday season. Sometimes it helps if I just cut out 1 week or even 5 or 6 days from my grocery budget, make do with what we have on hand, go with one less trip to the grocery store. Then I can have a more extravagant trip for groceries and buy some of the treats and special things that we like to have on hand, or some of the things for like a special holiday meal that we might enjoy on Christmas or Thanksgiving. Also, it's just a good practice in being good stewards of the things that we have and making sure that we are using things up. So I've done a little bit of a tidy up of my pantry, my fridge, my freezer. I will take you on a little tour, show you what we have, and then I will show you some of the meals that I'm gonna make from these items. So here we are in the refrigerator, and right on the top there, I have my Aldi Advent cheese calendars there. I have some of this cream cheese. It is seasoned, so that might come in handy for like a sauce or a soup or something. Some whipped cream cheese, a little bit of spreadable butter. It looks like some pepper jack cheese right there, and then some mozzarella and Colby Jack right there. In the lunch meat drawer, I have, looks like one little piece of pizza, which probably will get eaten today. Some sandwich cheese. This is cheese that was left over from Brick's charcuterie board, and it's like soft spreadable cheese. Again, I'm wondering if I can use that in some kind of like casserole or something. A few of these little smoked sausage links. I could use those in a soup. Some turkey for sandwiches. A little bit of applesauce, some plain Greek yogurt. I think there's about a third to half of this gallon of milk left. Some leftovers from last night, some shredded chicken that really needs to get used up. Brick's apple pie filling that he requested for his birthday. Some salad greens. We'll try to use those pretty quickly this week as sides for dinners or lunches. Some fully cooked turkey sausages. Again, another Brick request for his birthday that we ended up not using. Not a lot going on in the veggie crisper, but it does look like I have some onions and garlic, which can help. Oh, and celery, with flavoring different things. And not a lot going on in the fruit department. I do still have a few apples and some oranges. And then sort of your usual suspects here in the door, some condiments, you know, seasonings, salad dressings, stuff like that, some butter, some cream cheese there. And so yeah, there's some stuff. Ooh, there's like an open jar of pasta sauce. I could make spaghetti for the kids for lunch one day this week. And then moving up here to the freezer, we have, I know, just a couple of chicken breasts in that bag of frozen chicken. And I was surprised to see a pound of ground beef in here, which is great. I can use that up. It's like a few frozen strawberries in the back and some corn tortillas. Here's some tortellini. So I know I can do something great with that this week. I have flour if I want to make bread products. These are chicken tenders. I don't know how many are in there, only a couple probably. Also some turkey meatballs. So it looks like I have some meat that I can get creative with as far as dinners go. Some ice cream, some frozen bananas, one frozen meal here that I bought for a video that somebody can eat for lunch. And then I have some frozen waffles. The kids like to eat those for breakfast, and a few bags of frozen veggies here in the door. Over here to the pantry. Sorry, it's not super organized, but it's okay. On the top is mostly like baking stuff, like flour, sugar. There are cake mixes in there. Actually, that one on the top is going to be for McKenna's birthday this week. I'm going to make her a cake. So just like some general baked goods, and that is Daddy's goodie bucket with his pretzels and chips and stuff that he saves for himself. I have some canned goods here, lots of canned tomatoes, some canned veggies. I don't know why I have so much salad dressing in here because I hardly ever use it, but it's there. Soy sauce, barbecue sauce. Looks like I have some beans. Popcorn makes a great snack. A few cans of soup back there. Lots of pasta options. These two boxes are open. I know I have more pasta back there in those bags, different cuts of pasta. Some mac and cheese. Looks like I have just a few odds and ends of pasta and rice in these little baskets. Couple of snacks, plenty of oatmeal. Ooh, some potatoes. I need to use these up. Potatoes, crackers, graham crackers, probably just a few little snacky things in here. Looks like some rice cakes, marshmallows, oyster crackers. That could come in handy for soup. Ooh, a jar of queso. That also can come in handy. Some graham crackers in there. I have some chips, some tortillas, a little bit of bread. We have peanut butter and syrup and stuff like that in there. And then a little bit of cereal, and it looks like some pretzels. I also know that I have just a few things out in my chest freezer that might come in handy. I have a few bags of vegetables, a few bags of hash brown potatoes. I think there are some more tortillas out there. So the challenge is obviously to make do with what we have. So some recipes might call for milk, and I might be out of milk at that point, and I have to get creative. I should have plenty that I can create meals from for my family. One of the reasons I want to do this is because we are probably going to a little cabin in the woods for Thanksgiving in about 5 or 6 days, or we're going to be staying here and I'm going to want to do like a Thanksgiving meal grocery haul. And so I just kind of want to get us through those last few days without having to go to the grocery store and just clean everything out. But one of those days is McKenna's birthday. And so we will probably order something in, or we will go and get her whatever she wants for her birthday dinner. And as I pointed out, there's already a cake mix. I'm going to make her a cake for her birthday too. So there's one day that I know I don't need to come up with a dinner plan because we'll do something for her birthday, even if it's just going and getting it and bringing it back here. But that leaves Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. That leaves 5 days when I'm going to try to come up with meals. And I need to come up with some lunches too, because the kids are home distance learning this week. So I'm going to need to feed them lunch as well. So let's see if we can get it done. Dinner tonight is going to be what I think are Copycat Kfc Bowls. I've actually never had a KFC bowl, but I've seen people eating these or making something like it on their channels, especially some of my WW friends who are on Purple, because potatoes are 0 points on Purple and you can make these very WW friendly. Anyway, I just made up some mashed potatoes with the rest of my potatoes that I had in the pantry. I just peeled those and then chopped them in half and boiled them until they were done. And then I put them back in my pot with a little bit of cream cheese that I had left over from one brick in my refrigerator that I needed to use up, a heaping spoonful of non-fat plain Greek yogurt, some salt and pepper, and then a skosh of milk, and I just blended those until they were creamy. And then to make the bowls, you put mashed potatoes in your bowl, and then you top it with chicken and corn and cheese. KFC puts gravy on it. I didn't think that sounded very good, and I didn't want to make gravy, so I do have some barbecue sauce out. I might drizzle just a little bit of that on my bowl. For the chicken, I have some shredded chicken that we've had in the refrigerator for several days now that needs to be used up, so I'll have some of that. I also had one very large chicken tender that I had in the freezer, and I just threw that into my air fryer for a couple of minutes, and the kids might make theirs with that. So that is what we're gonna have for dinner tonight, and I've just made some very simple salads from the salad greens and a little bit of ranch dressing and some Parmesan cheese. Looks yummy and smells yummy, and I mean, what's better than homemade mashed potatoes, you guys? Hello friends, today I am making up some barley. This is something that a lot of people use in soups, especially soups that call for beef, like vegetable beef soups or vegetable beef stews. My family does not care for this. I love barley, but I keep trying to make it in a way that my family will eat it and they just won't. So I thought that I would just make some up to make lunches with this week. So what I have is just some barley in here with about a tablespoon of butter, and I'm just kind of browning it a little bit. And then I'm gonna add 2 cups of water and a little bit of this beef broth base. And I'm also gonna throw in this bag of peas and carrots, and I'm gonna let that cook for, 10 or 15 minutes until it's done cooking. And basically it's gonna make like a barley pilaf. And I thought maybe I could have that with a couple of scrambled eggs or something for lunch a few days. And that's just one way that I can use that up. And Ruthie is making herself a cheese quesadilla. So she's using up some of those tortillas. Thanks, Ruth. I have to run out the door to work here in just a few minutes, but I threw together this casserole for tonight so my family can get that going because I'll be home after dinner time. So earlier today, I had 2 frozen chicken breasts left in my freezer, and I threw them into the crock pot with that jar of pasta sauce that I had partially used that was in the refrigerator. I also like to put a little water in the jar and shake it up so that I get all of the sauce out of it. I topped that with half a brick of cream cheese. I think it's the last of my bricks of cream cheese. And I just added just a touch of salt and pepper and Italian seasoning. The sauce is already seasoned, so I didn't over season it. I let that cook all day, and then I just shredded up the chicken, and it made this nice kind of sauce with the chicken in it. I cooked some pasta on the stove, probably about 12 ounces dry, and then I topped that with the sauce and just stirred it all together, dumped it into this casserole dish, and topped it with mozzarella cheese. So now all my family has to do is pop this into the oven around dinner time for about 20 to 25, maybe 30 minutes until it's heated through. And then we can have this with a side of veggies. And I also have some homemade bread that was a practice run on a bread that I'm going to make for a video we can toast and have along with this. So that's dinner tonight. Dinner tonight is going to be a soup in the crock pot. I had 1 pound of ground beef in my freezer, so I let that thaw and then I browned it. And in here I also have some random pasta that I had sitting in a jar. I usually throw like the odds and ends from different boxes and things in this jar. So I just cooked that up and then I tossed it into the pot here. And to that I'm going to add these things from my pantry: a can of beans, a can of chili ready tomatoes, a can of mixed vegetables, and a can of tomato soup. And then I will also add, you know, like another can or two of water. And I'll probably add like some ranch mix to this, I think is what I'm thinking I'm gonna do for seasoning it. But this is already seasoned, and obviously this is already salty and has some seasoning in it. Normally I would use a can of minestrone for this style of soup, but first of all, I haven't seen it in stores for a while. And secondly, that's not what I have on hand. So I'm gonna just kind of let my taste buds be my guide, and if I need to season it a little bit more, I'll let you know. But I think I'll just throw in a little bit of ranch seasoning, which I usually make homemade. And if you want to know how I do that, I'll leave a link to that video in the description box. The soup turned out great. I have a little bit of pepper jack cheese on top of mine. We had some in the refrigerator. I think my husband must have purchased that. I am not a huge pepper jack fan, but it will go very well with this soup. And I had planned to make some cornbread. We're not huge cornbread fans in this house, but I saw a recipe online for an Amish sour cream cornbread. I will leave it linked in the description box. I had to troubleshoot just a little bit. I ended up having to cook it in my air fryer because my oven for some reason is not working at this time. Anyhow, it turned out wonderful. The only thing that I did wrong was that I did not cook it long enough. Since I haven't baked in my air fryer before, I just undercooked it a tad, so the center of it wasn't quite done, but we've eaten around it, and it is really, really good. For dinner tonight, I am going to use up the turkey meatballs that are in my freezer, along with the tortellini that I found in there, and this little container of cream cheese that is chive and onion cream cheese. I took the turkey meatballs out of the freezer and I let them sit on the counter for a little while to defrost just a little bit, because I'm gonna chop them up into smaller pieces. I'm gonna toss those into my crock pot along with 2 cups of water and some chicken broth base and maybe a little Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, and also that container of chive and onion cream cheese. I like that it's flavored because it's going to kind of help flavor the sauce. I'm going to let that simmer in the crock pot for a couple of hours, and then I will add my tortellini to that and let that cook for about 30 minutes. And then we can top that with some shredded cheese, and we should have a really yummy turkey tortellini. Okay, so this dinner turned out way better than even I could have imagined. I already tried a bite of it, and this pasta is so flavorful. And this is something I would never have thought of to make if I was just buying stuff at the grocery store, like making a meal plan ahead of time and then buying stuff. So I'm so glad that I stumbled upon this because it was super easy and the kids gobbled it up. In fact, they had seconds, and now I am having mine, and I tried some of it, and it is so, so good and so easy. We have arrived at the final day of this little use it up pantry, fridge, freezer challenge. And I'm kind of getting to the end of stuff. The fridge and the freezer are looking pretty cleaned out, and I'll give you a view of that here at the end of the video, but I need to throw together one more dinner. Yesterday was McKenna's birthday, and as I mentioned, we did get her what she wanted. She wanted a big breakfast in the morning, so I did have to go out and buy some milk because I didn't have any milk for pancakes or to make her a birthday cake, which actually the cake didn't come to fruition because I realized that my oven was not working, but I did cheat a little bit. I went out and got some more milk because we were out. The kids had used all throughout the week, and I needed that for her birthday breakfast. And then for dinner, she just wanted pizza. I am going to, I think, throw together some potato soup for tonight. And I have some really random stuff from my refrigerator that I'm going to try to use to make it work. So let me turn you around and I'll show you what I'm putting in my crock pot. Okay, so as I stated, this is going to be a little random, but I think I have found a way to use all these ingredients. So I just have some hash browns. I have a few bags of these in my freezer. I need to use them up. I'm not going to use all this onion, maybe just about a third of it, quarter to a third of it chopped up, and then some cloves of garlic, salt and pepper, a little broth base, and I'll throw some water in there as well. I don't have a lot of meat, but I do have a few random things, and I thought these would add a lot of flavor. I have 1.5 of these little smoked sausage links, and I'm going to chop them up really small and throw them into the soup, along with this one little package of sausage patties that's left over from breakfast yesterday. They are fully cooked, so again, I'm just going to chop them up really small and add them to the soup. So I will throw all of that into the crock pot with about 4 cups of water and about a tablespoon or 2 of this broth-based seasoning and some salt and pepper just to taste. And then this is brie I think it's brie, that is left over from Brick's charcuterie board that he requested for his birthday. Yes, my 7-year-old son wanted a charcuterie board for his birthday. We had one porch drawn for him. And I think if I take the rind off of this, it will melt really well in the soup. So I think I have an idea for how I'm gonna make that happen at the end, and then add some milk as well. Slight change of plans here. I have everything in my crock pot. And by the way, you guys, this is a crock pot liner. This is not just a random plastic bag. I got so many comments on that one time in a video, but these are made specifically for the slow cooker. I decided not to put my little sausage patties in here all chopped up because I feel like this little bit of hot links, the smoked sausage, is gonna add a lot of flavor to this soup, and I don't really need the extra meat in it. And I also decided to go with 2 cups of water and 2 cups of milk to start out cooking this in. I know sometimes people feel like you should really add the dairy at the end of the recipe, but I feel like with 2% milk, I'm gonna be okay here. And then I'll add the cheese at the end. So I'm gonna get this going. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on high for about an hour and then turn it down to low. Okay, here is my soup. I had just a little bit of Colby Jack cheese left, so I shredded just a little bit up on top of my bowl, and then I have 2 pieces of toast. This turned out fabulous, so I'm very pleased with it. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. The soup tonight was delicious. I wanted to do a couple more things this week. I wanted to make some banana muffins for my kids and maybe another casserole, but unfortunately my oven broke the other day. It was right after I filmed that flour video with all the baked goods, so fortunately it didn't break during or before that. But my oven wasn't working, so I couldn't do some of the other things. And I gotta be honest, sometimes this kind of challenge for myself is almost a little embarrassing to show you guys, because I'm realizing as I look through my pantry and fridge that we could still make it comfortably a couple more days without going to the store, and probably even a few days beyond that. I'm out of fruit, but I still have some vegetables. I still have some beans, some pasta, some marinara. We still have like pantry staples like flour so that we could make bread or pancakes. I mean, it's just an eye-opener for me. But thank you so much for coming along with me. I do feel good about what we were able to do this week, and we were able to use a lot of stuff up before we leave town for Thanksgiving. We're going to celebrate in the middle of nowhere in a nice, comfortable house, but that we have rented, you know, far away from the city and everywhere else where we can just enjoy the outdoors. So it was good to use up anything that was going to spoil while we were gone before we left. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to checking in with another video very soon.